Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So I got a question for everyone. Question for you. Is this you or somebody you know? You got stuff going on, pretty major stuff in your life. Maybe it's now or you've experienced it. And then somebody says something to you, how you doing? How's it going? And you reply with, it's all right. I'm fine. Now, others have it a lot worse than I do. Or, and I personally hate to say this, but it could be worse. And then you just kind of shrug it off. On surface level, seems like it's, you're piloting through. But are you really? And what is going on there when you hold back all of that? We're going to talk about that today. I think it might offer some surprises for all of us. She's an amazing psychotherapist, insight for everyone, works with individuals, couples, even children. And she's so genuine and natural. So that's where the conversation starts. Susie Engel is back on the program with us. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Steve. How are you?
Really good.
Good.
And as we're talking about this, I'm going through my mind of the times I've said those things where, it's fine, I'm getting by, it's okay, it's all right. And then I'm wondering, was I wrong in doing that? And I'm trying to reframe the moments in the situation I was in. We don't want to be a burden too. That's the other part of it, right?
Well, all that, was I wrong? Am I a burden? All these things are contributing to why somebody might say, oh, I'm okay. Other people have it worse. It seems to be a pattern with a lot of people who experience traumatic experience where, it's hard for them to understand that whatever their subjective experience was impacted them subjectively. So at an individual level, I might have, and we've spoken about this before, I might have the same car accident as somebody else, but I'm traumatized by it and they are not. So when I discuss the accident, I have to be able to say, the accident really threw me and I'm working through it and I'm trying to figure out the impact it's had. But if I were to minimize it and say other people have it much worse, or the accident could have been much worse, and I understand that's a common thing, but if I minimize it, I am also minimizing how that experience impacted me.
Mm-hmm.
And then where does it go? It stays inside and generalizes into, I don't know how to describe how it could generalize, but it can generalize into anything. Does that make sense to you?
It really does. And I'm a big believer in energy and what it is. We're all energy. Google it. I'm not making this up. It's scientifically proven. But
we are energy.
If you minimize a traumatic situation, you're holding that energy in, and energy needs to always be energy cannot stop. It's always moving. So that call it negative energy from that traumatic experience. Now you're holding that in. It's going to do something. It's got to go somewhere. What's it going to do? Potentially make you sick, disease. Things may present from you holding all of that in. I kind of look at it as a bottle of soda, and it got all shaken up.
Yeah.
And unless you release the pressure, it's in there and it's just building. To one point.
And it can come out in many different ways. So true, like we are energy. We have an electromagnetic field about us. This is how our system works. I can walk out to the waiting room and I may not remember, because I have a very busy schedule, who my next client is, but I can surely walk into that waiting room and feel whether that person is experiencing anxiousness, anger, calmness, everything's cool. I can feel it. I can feel it in the atmosphere. We have electromagnetic fields. Um, um,
Mm.
but if we were to minimize our experiences habitually, it could come out in many different ways. So one is we could become physically sick. We could develop autoimmune illnesses. We could have a severe cold just because our immune system is compromised. We could become reactive. I think reactivity, a small situation or a situation that would not bother us,
Mm.
it's exuding from us this gigundo reaction, emotional reaction. So the emotional response is not meeting the actual situation. So
Mm.
we can become reactive. I think that's a sure sign that somebody is minimizing what they've gone through. Um, and or we could take things could transform if we're minimizing our own experience. It could transform into anger, and then we could take our anger on people around us
Ooh.
who we love and care about.
You know,
So
that I want to just put the little microscope on what you just said. That when we hold things in, like let's say you have stress and you're just bottling up the stress, rinse and repeat every day, and you're angry or you're miserable, you may not realize that it's things you're holding inside. And I just heard that recently and I was like, that does make perfect sense. That there's,
yes,
right?
yes. And so now we can also speak to, rather than minimizing and saying, oh, other people have it worse, really manage everything that we're up against. So if we're experiencing stress, which we do, we cannot stop stress from happening to us. Stress is just part of living.
Mm.
And if we weren't experiencing stress, we wouldn't be alive. So there's optimal stress, there's coping with stress in a window of tolerance, and then there's outside of a window of tolerance. If we go above a window of tolerance, we may be reactive, we may be bitter and angry, we may be panicked. That's
Mm.
above the, if we go below the window of tolerance, we may just want to kind of crawl up and put our hoodie on. We've talked about this, and just not face life. But the key to resolve all this is to cope with all of this, manage our stress, but also look at our experiences, whether we call them trauma or not, and how these experiences have impacted our self-worth, so that we're not thinking I'm a burden and we're not thinking I'm unimportant because other people have it worse.
So how do you know when it's okay to say or pilot by, no, yeah, no, that was pretty crazy, but I'm good. I'm good. How do you know when you really are good?
Um, you feel right about yourself. You
Or
have,
even in a situation, let's say a situation presented, and personally, this is why I'm bringing it up. I can relate to this. I dealt with some stuff, half a dozen years ago. It was pretty rocking, like, whoa.
yes,
Years later, people would say to me, man, maybe somebody knew I met and I shared, stories with them. They shared whatever. And then they would say, man, I can't believe what you went through. Oh my gosh. Well, like I never imagined that, when you said, this is the other person saying to me, I never imagined when you first told me, then hearing all the details of what you went through in your life. And then I said, yeah, I know, but it's all good now. I'm moving forward. It's all good. But I really mean it. It's all good.
yes.
Um,
How do we know?
how do you know? Yeah.
Because, well, there are some hallmarks
Okay.
to look for. One, I believe, is restored self-worth. So when I say I feel right about myself, or another person is reporting to me, wow, I actually feel right about myself, or I feel like my self-worth has been restored. That is key in knowing that you have recovered from whatever experiences have uh, provided you with assault, right? It
Mm,
doesn't have to be an assault. I'm saying that in a broad sense. When we experience something that damages our self-worth, we have to restore our self-worth. The other
mm,
hallmark, I believe, is we can look at these experiences, and you're kind of speaking to this. We can look at these experiences, and they don't, we remember them, we can think about them, but they don't carry the charge of emotions. They don't carry shame. They don't carry,
mm.
when I say that charge, I really mean like that almost electric charge or electrical charge of overwhelming feelings. And then the third thing I do believe, when we know we have worked through experiences that maybe we were conditioned to minimize, I believe that we feel more free to experience joy in our lives.
Mm.
And I really do think that those are the three big indicators of I don't have to minimize what I've gone through. And maybe somebody doesn't understand what I've gone through, but that doesn't affect me either. If somebody doesn't understand, I still know what I went through and what I've recovered from.
Those markers really are true because all three of those, I'm thinking of them. And yes, I believe when you think back to a very challenging situation, no matter what it is, it doesn't carry the same energy as it did initially. And it's not like you're just shrugging it off. You're just like, yeah, oh, I'm good. You're
Well,
genuinely good.
you've gained perspective.
Yes, you're looking at it through a different camera angle, if you will.
Yes,
Yes. And
yes,
and I believe also when you've gotten to that point, when things present, and they're going to, it's called life.
yes,
It's not a big deal anymore. You've found resilience. You're like, maybe you got triggered for a minute, then you're like, all right, we're good.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And you can also say that if you think about that experience, it no longer validates what did I do wrong? Why am I failing? Or I'm not safe in the world, or it doesn't validate
Mhm.
those negative false beliefs. If we've worked through it, we really do feel self-worth restored. So then we have a sense of security within ourselves. And you can
Yes.
attest to that
A sense of security. I never thought of verbalizing that way.
that way.
But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really great way to describe it.
And now you can also attest, because you've worked through all that. You, Steve, have
Hmm.
worked through all that. You can definitely feel that you experience more joy in your life.
Yes, and you find the little nuggets, the little things are big joyful things. And
Like we're
I'm not looking for those things, but what could you say is joy? It could be don't laugh, just sitting down on the couch and having a moment of quiet and peace. I
yeah,
actually look forward to that. That's my little joy for the day. Like woke up this morning. I usually wake up, take about 10 minutes, reflect for a moment, call it meditation, whatever you want. And then I, get up and I start my day. Today I had an early meeting. I didn't do it. Guess what? I feel like something's missing. And that's a little nugget of joy right there. And all those other little ones, you see them as even walking my dog. I used to, oh, yeah, walk the dog. Oh, God. Now it's like I look forward to it. It's like a little piece in the morning. 20 minutes I'm out there walking around. He's doing his thing. I'm bonding with him. It's a little,
yes,
I mean, it's tiny, but it's a little beep, little beep of joy.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you see it in
Yeah.
a different way.
And
That's my point.
yeah. And also, a lot of people who minimize their experiences don't really feel joy lately. So this is just a fringe benefit. It's a huge reclaim, I believe.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting, right?
It really is when you start looking at these things and life in general, because we can get easily sucked into the vortex of the stress and all that stuff going on and not seeing other things around you, the beauty around you. And
Yeah.
again, all right, calm down, people. It's not like, I'm a tree hugging, hippie and,
Oh,
the world
no.
is great, but I love my trees too.
But the world, but life is good. Like if we don't experience our own individual life despite everything that's going on around us, and really it is about learning to for me, when I hear those words, oh, I went through this A, B, and C, for example, and I know other people have it worse. That's just like a window into this person's world of I've been taught to make myself small. And that is no way to live.
Mm,
It's just speaking to damaged self-worth and the trauma incurred by whatever experiences the people are experiencing. It's just huge. I hope the audience really listens to this. And I like that little bit of joy because we did a podcast about quietness and silence and how healthy solitude is. And we were talking about regulating and feeling calmness because we can empower ourselves to be calm
mm.
no matter what we're up against, but apologizing for our own experience by saying other people have it worse is a huge, you know, no for me. It saddens me. Like my
Um,
heart hurts when I hear people say that.
yes, and it comes from a good place. However, it's a negative. Others have it worse. What does the subconscious here have it worse? Or I've reframed it. I try never to say this. I reframe it. Um, it could be worse. It could be worse. Well, you're saying be worse. How about I'm
Yeah.
grateful it turned out that way?
Yeah. Or well, no, I mean it's just I don't mean to say no, but I mean the point is if we've experienced something and are carrying so much either negative self-worth or shame, or maybe those are one and two at the same, I don't know, one or two, uh, to have to minimize the impact of an experience, that is all the reason to work it through.
Mm-hmm.
Saying it could have been worse or other people have it worse is not adaptive. It's saying, I need to shut up.
Yeah.
It's saying, I am not worthy. And that's just not true. It's just not true. It can't be because everybody has their own experience in their own context.
You're
Yeah.
just pushing it aside, and I know there's many different reasons. As we said, you don't want to be a burden. You don't want to look weak. Like men will do this, I'm fine. It could be worse, but you need to go through it to get to the other side, and then once you do, and it'll happen again, and things will maybe not the same thing, but things will happen again. It gets easier. I want to. You said something before. 3 words. And I thought about them after you said them, and it really made a big difference. And you know what those 3 words were? Life is good. Like when you say
Yes.
those words, life is good. It right away makes you think, yeah, it is actually pretty good. Yeah. And then you start
Yeah.
thinking of those things that you're grateful for.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's right because of this and because of that. And I'm not saying, well, it could be worse. No, because I'm grateful of this and I'm grateful of that. But saying those three words actually triggered me in a very positive way. I really mean that. Life is good. Yeah. It's
Yes.
challenging.
Yeah.
We're
Well, that
not
is
running from that.
because we're alive.
Yes. It's
Because
life.
we're alive. Like I'm telling you, life is stressful, but that's not a bad thing. It's
No.
just the nature of life. And it's the art of how to, and I don't mean to be cliche because there are a lot of books about the art of this and the art of that. But it really is like, what is my competence to cope with stress? And it's a beautiful thing
Mm.
to cope with stress
And
because then we can enjoy our lives.
we're not saying there's no stress. We're not saying there's
No,
no
there's plenty of
anxiety.
stress.
Every
Yeah.
day, each one of us has anxiety.
Well, not anxiety. Um we have challenging, stressful situations. It doesn't mean it's causing us to have a stress response. It just means we have to be alert on how we're going to use our ways of coping with healthy, restored self-worth
I'm
and
being real.
confidence and security.
I'm being real here, Susie. Yes or no? Every day we deal with some type of anxiety.
Uh, I don't use the word anxiety, but I will use the word fear. And personally, I'm not that fearful of a person. But
Even
anxiety has like become a whole anomaly, and I
all right,
really
fair enough.
would not prefer to. Um,
Fair enough.
yeah, if you want to say stress response or stress and coping with stress, yes, everybody incurs stress. If we didn't incur stress, we would not be alive. Our hearts would not be beating. Our blood would not be circulating. Therapy doesn't take away stress. There's no magic thing about life
Mm,
that means we don't have stress. It's we face our stress and we cope with it
yep.
remarkably well.
And back to the beginning. Part of that is acknowledging that you got stuff going on, and
Yeah,
not to push it off to the side. Well, they got it worse and all of that.
right.
It's working through it. And thank you for saying that. You're not nobody is the magic. You will not have any stress. I'm going to take away your stress. Impossible.
No,
Impossible. You empower people to work through it and minimize it in a very healthy way. That doesn't mean holding it inside, is what we started with here
not
today.
minimize it. Broaden the person's perspective to be able to say, I see it clearly now. I'm
Mm.
not like this. Yeah.
It's almost that, again, back to the vortex. When you're in the middle of it, you can't see it for what it is. But once you learn those skills, you see it in a different way. And it's like, wow, that big bad thing there, that stress thing, that whatever that situation was, wasn't that bad. It wasn't that challenging after all. I'm good. I'm good with it. Hmm.
Once you restore your self-worth, you can say, wow, I can really tolerate this. I can look at it. I can see how my damaged self-worth informed me, like I'm a burden or I am weak.
Yep.
That's trauma right there. That's what needs to be restored. We can keep going. We can talk about this
I know. I
over and
know.
over, but I think we've made the point. I think once we've worked, the minimizing will only perpetuate our negative false beliefs that make us small in life.
100%. I lived it. I get it. And
Yeah,
I used to see these bumper stickers on the back of Jeeps and cars and things like that. And it would say, life is good. It was like, a
yeah,
few years ago. And I'm like,
it's a brand.
And then there's that. Well, you know what? There's truth in it. Susan Engel LCSW.com.
Yes, sir.
That's how we connect with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the audience should respond and we could have 100 people on a Zoom call with just one open conversation.
I challenge someone, anybody, reach out to us. We would love to talk with you, or even if you want to send us an email, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. Maybe you've lived this. Maybe you've, experienced stress, but put it in check. Would love to hear from you. Susie, thank you so much for today.
Thanks, Steve.
The way we do this, we come up with this thought, and then I'm going to tell you, there's a teeny bit of stress in me that says, I don't know how we're going to fill a half hour. Like you said, we can keep going on this. Like it happens every time. And for that, I appreciate
funny.
you. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk soon. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.